last hurrah for the hair.
Really?
Yeah.
You chopping the hair? Do one last mane for the camera. One last mane flip.
Oh, yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Actually getting my hair tied and get my Sam Elliott from Roadhouse. Wade Garrett look. Ready for
that for the podcast.
Yep, just pull it back and, when he gets ready to kick some butt, he just pulls his hair back.
Yep.
That's how I get ready for the podcast, just pull my hair back.
How about that? I'm keeping this. I'm keeping that for the podcast intro today. Welcome to another episode, you guys, of the Live Beyond Average podcast. We're on episode 105 today. My man, Dustin, back on the show. It's been a few weeks, both been busy. But we're rolling. We're in January, and it's already January 10th. Can't believe it. We were just sitting down making a few plans for our February hunt that we have coming up, and decided we better flip on the camera and record something quick. And we were wrapping up a few stories that I hadn't heard from him yet about the end of pheasant season and his daughter's first deer. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We were just looking at a little footage on the computer. And, dude, tell me about that. I looked at the footage. Tell me about what happened.
It was kind of one of those seasons where, when we got into it, we shot the gun a little bit. It was really hot, and there was lots of mosquitoes. And then it went to it's raining, and then it went straight from that to like early November. It was freezing cold.
Yeah, we had a quick cold spell there.
So it's like I really don't want to get her eaten alive by mosquitoes or freeze her out. So then we kind of just waited, and then in December, she was like, "Oh, Dad, are we going to go get my deer?" Yeah, okay.
We're going to freeze her out anyway.
Yeah. So we kind of waited for some snow, and then it started getting down to the last few days. You got till January 1st.
Yep.
And I kind of wanted to wait until the pheasant hunters had kind of pushed out. Let the deer kind of herd up a little bit and not be messing with anybody else's hunting. Mm-hmm. So we ended up going out December 30th, which was, a few days before close, and got some permission from some guys I work with. It was awesome. I'd pheasant hunted their ground before and knew where to go.
Nice.
And we're driving up there, and the whole time it is 19 degrees, 25, 30 mile an hour winds just whipping from the northwest.
Nasty day.
And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to have any luck, but all right, whatever. So we drive around a little bit, and didn't really see anything. So my level of excitement's like, oh boy, this is going to get stressful on Dad.
Yep.
And we kind of pull in, park in the field there, or glass in the woods, and she's all amped to get out. I'm like, yeah, this is great. She's excited to get out.
Yeah.
But Dad's not. I can see the whole Suburban's rocking because of the wind.
She doesn't know what she's getting into yet.
Right. Yeah. So, we're sitting there, and she's like, "Dad, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go?" I'm like, let's just look through our binoculars. She had her binoculars, and we're
Awesome.
looking for anything. She's like, "I think I see one." Okay, and we're looking at everything. So we kind of make a plan. We're gonna walk through a bean field and go to the far south end of this property, and then kind of maybe just still hunt our way through the woods, and if we find a spot that's out of the wind, we'll hunker down for a little bit.
Yeah.
And as we're getting ready to go, I'm got the little hot hands, and I'm throwing those in her boots and putting one in the back of her mittens, trying to keep her warm, and big fuzzy muff neck warmer.
Yep.
This sick neck warmer this just looked like the little Christmas Story kid
waddling out there.
And, we're walking across this bean field, and that was right after we had got that rain and freezing rain and crap. And it was just crunch, 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 every footstep. And so I looked over, I'm like, Nat, you're being loud, you're going to scare all the deer. And she's like, oh. Well, we walk 10 more steps, she's like, Dad, you're being loud, you're going to scare all the deer. I'm like, oh, well played.
Yeah.
So we were kind of joking back and forth, and we're walking, and I'm like, we're so loud, but the wind was really whipping. Mm-hmm. We're not going to see anything. Let's just make it fun.
Right.
And we get to the woods, and there's a little waterway, and I can see it was full of snow, it was blown full, and she's trudging away, and I'm carrying the rifle, and yeah, she takes like one step in that and just face plants, eats it in the snow, and she's laughing. And I'm laughing.
Perfect.
Like, pick her up, kind of scoop her out of the snow, and just as we get to the other side of that, I see the back end of a deer in the woods. I'm like, no way. Nat, get out. You know, just, there's a deer. She's like, what? You know, we were just goofing off the whole way over here and laughing.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a deer right here.
Right.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we got down, and I kind of got the shooting sticks. Thankfully, I brought extra shooting sticks with that were longer because I had to go way down through the snow.
Right.
And she got on it, and I had a little handy cam video camera that I was going to try and get everything on. And, man, before I could get even on the deer, she was talking to me, and she's, Dad, I'm ready. I was like, oh, crap. You know, I'm not ready. Dad's not ready for this. And, I put it on the deer, and it was really cool. Days leading up to it, and even the drive up, she was looking, kind of researching shot placement.
That's cool.
YouTubing, all the kids in YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
It's, Dad, watch this YouTube video. Is this where you want to shoot? Yep.
That's crazy.
It was cool.
So she was taking like legit responsibility into knowing what to do.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And I was really proud of her for that. And then, she, I kind of looked over, and she's hunkered down, good, got a good hold. I'm like, are you on him? Yep, still on her. And those fawns came running. 2 more deer came running, and I'm like, oh, shoot, they're going to bust out of there.
Right.
And they didn't. She kind of just stood up and did the old, look around, couldn't figure out what we were.
Nice.
And I'm like, Nat, you can, if you got a good shot, you can go ahead and bang!
Yes.
The deer did the old, hit her perfect, did the old backflip and just down. And
That's
then it's,
awesome.
Dad, I got her. And that excitement was just like, hit me right in the feels.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, you go from being a really crappy day and not thinking that you're going to have any sort of luck to this, like, super exciting, she's jacked up, and, Dad's getting a little misty over the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Can't imagine. For
sure. The wind's still whipping, and sure enough, we wait a little bit and get in there, and this big doe was laying there.
That's so cool.
And we, I didn't, like I was telling you, I didn't make her gut it or anything like that, or do that.
Yeah. She's what? How old is she?
She's 10.
Yeah. Not needed.
No. She hung out there, and she took some pictures of the process.
Cool. Yeah.
And then once, I'm trying to hurry and get it done because it was cold.
Right.
And it was starting to get dark on us, and I'm like, well, I'll just
get her done.
And she's like, Dad, my feet are getting cold. Go jump in the truck. We were able to drive right out there.
That's
to
awesome.
It, so that helped too.
Makes for a good experience, especially that first time. And that's the thing is, like, as you're easing your kids into that, like, making it enjoyable and fun, right? Not always miserable. Like, it doesn't have to be a hardcore hunt, and there's going to be plenty of days and opportunities for that. So that's great, dude.
No, she was real excited, and that's what it was all about. And she
cool.
just got a phone for Christmas, so she wanted to text all the people in her phone, and that's kind of cool because that's what we all want to do. Is
we do the same thing.
Trophy text or big buck down text, and she did. When we were kind of propping it up for pictures, she's like, Dad, think we could put this head on the wall by yours? I was like, well,
that's amazing.
It doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
Like, when you get a buck, we'll do that.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's an expensive taxidermy bill.
Yeah, for a doe.
Yep.
Well, that's cool. And it gives her something to look forward to.
Yeah.
On future hunts, like, hey, when you get a buck, we'll for sure do it.
Yeah, in a couple years, here they have to wait till they're 12 to get their youth tag and do the gun safety stuff.
Yep.
The mentor tags are just doe antlerless only.
Right.
So,
I'm so pumped they took the age restriction off of that.
Yes.
Because that would have never happened a couple years ago.
No.
To be able to do that.
And she was pumped too because, a couple of her friends got deer, so she really wanted to experience that, and it's something she's wanted to do.
She's been talking about it since I've known her.
Yeah.
You know, how excited she's been to get out and do it. So, I mean, without that rule change, she'd still be waiting a couple more years. And they're clearly some kids are ready to go. So that's such a good opportunity. I love that. I can't wait till a few more years. More years for my daughter to go do it. I'm excited.
Getting there.
I'm pumped because, you know, she just turned 5 here back in November. And I've actually been... So I have a little single shot, you know, little youth tiny 22 that my dad gave me when I was little. But I've been looking at some different options too for you know, a gun for her to be able to, so we could go out here and start plinking away and teaching her a little bit. So that's the plan this spring is we're gonna start introducing her and teaching her the safety, teaching her the roundabouts to it and getting going at that. I feel like she's ready to rock. So
yeah,
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for that process, and I'm gonna definitely start with that single shot 22, but I want to get her a little. I really like an AR platform 22. I think you have that too, right? And that's what kind of got me thinking is when you started telling me about that. I'm like, you know, I really like that. Be efficient, learning how to use that type of weapon, and so that's what I'm definitely gonna get one of those too as the progression continues. So
yeah, my middle daughter has no desire to go deer hunting or any hunting, but man, she loves ringing steel at the range, which is awesome.
Yeah,
you know, that's one of my thoughts is I want to get my kids comfortable around guns.
Yep.
So that they don't have questions and sneak in there and fiddle with them when I'm not around.
When you can take curiosity away, I think taking that curiosity away is a huge part of gun safety.
Yeah.
Because if they're not curious about the gun, they're not going to go sneak in there and look at it.
No.
So when you take that curiosity away and be like, hey, whenever you want to look at the guns, whenever you want to go out and shoot, you come tell me, we'll go do it. You know what I mean? When I think it's approached that way, then there's not,
right.
I'm gonna go check this out.
And
you know,
teach them the respect for the weapon.
They have to learn that.
That's the main thing.
That number one rule, whatever that weapon points at, you have to be willing and able to destroy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that is the number one rule when it comes to gun safety, right? I mean,
yeah, and there's these first-person shooter games on.
Right. Yep. Understand. There's no coming
console.
back. That's a very hard thing for children to grasp, especially at massively young ages like 5 and 6 and 7. It's hard to understand. Really hard concept to understand. So there has to be an extra conscious effort from us, you know. So,
yeah.
But that's a responsibility we take. So, dude, what else we got going on, man? We were actually sitting here even talking about tag fulfillment before we started, and again, we make our normal mistake that we acknowledge every time is why weren't we recording 45 minutes ago when we were naturally talking about this.
Yes.
But one of the subjects we were talking about that definitely has hit us this last year, and I think part of it maybe is just a growth factor. Yeah, but it comes with age. And not even with age. I think it comes with experience and time out in the field. Maybe the amount of tags filled in the past. I don't know. I think there's a lot that goes into it. Maturity of being an outdoorsman, maybe. But just that pressure or lack thereof or overpressure to always feel like you have to fill the tag, or realizing I don't have to fill this tag. Like, I can enjoy the hunt. I don't have to fill it. We were just talking about that, how we both, I feel like, have, I think, kind of found that this last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I went through, like you said, a couple of years where you have a whole handful of tags, and you're like, all right, I got to get out these days for this tag, these days for this tag. I have to get this tag filled. And I think we're kind of talking about losing the authenticity or the moment of that hunt because they're so focused on filling this tag.
Or all your tags.
Right.
I got to fill all my tags.
Yes. And this year, I really kind of went a different route, and I tried. Luckily, I was thankful enough to get my archery West River right away in September. But once I got that deer, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go for the East-West River.
That combo,
try and fill both tags. Well, once I sat back and started looking at it, I had, a friend of mine that was coming out, and he hadn't shot a mule deer before, so, I was kind of doing some scouting for him, and I ended up sneaking up and getting a long shot at mule deer, but it wasn't a trophy mule deer by any means. But then, after that shot, I kind of sat back and I missed, a long shot. Didn't wound him or anything. And after that, I kind of sat back and I'm like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't need the meat. Natalie's still got a tag. I've got hunts coming up in February in New Mexico.
Right.
It's not, that I could shoot this deer to fill this tag, but that's not. I kind of really went back and forth. So after that,
that's interesting.
I really went into like more scouting mode,
mm-hmm.
and then once, my buddy Trav came out, and he was really going after a mule deer and wanted a mule deer, and then we ended up going after that one. It was just an awesome experience for me too. Just to hunt with him, and some guys like to hunt all on their own, and there's times for that, and then there's some times where it's super fun to hunt with somebody else and go at it together, and that was really neat too.
So do you think like that moment where you were like, what am I doing? Like, I don't need to fill that tag. Do you think it was because it wasn't as big of a deer as what you've killed in the past? You've killed several nice mule deer, several nice whitetails. Do you think it was because you've already filled tags that season? You had a lot more opportunity, or was it a combination? What do you think? Like, I'm just trying to get because I'm having these same types of moments now, and I'm just trying to I like to self-evaluate and be like, okay, why is it that we're feeling this way?
I think for me, after I missed that deer, I kind of sat down, and actually it was snowing. I sat under a cedar and I really thought about the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was really kind of a humbling shot to me.
Sure.
And it was like, I didn't need that. I didn't need to do that. And I think it's more just taking a step back and looking at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm. And
I was just kind of thankful I was still able to be out there.
Yeah.
And, then just like that, there was kind of a doe and a younger buck that were working their way up. And I just sat and watched them. And I'm like, man, I think I'm just more thankful for that experience right now than the actual harvest of that critter.
Yep.
And then I kind of sat back and, it's fun to help other people experience it. And
right.
I totally saw that with my daughter this year. That was obviously one of my favorite hunts.
Right.
And
it will be forever too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of more eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
I was really set on really self-driven, I guess, and really focused on, I got to do this, I got to achieve this goal.
Sure.
And that miss helped me step back and be like, okay, let's just reassess the whole thing.
You don't have to go 8 for 8 on your tags this year. And it's hard because I think, we're competitive people. I think most people are,
mm-hmm.
and you want success and in everything you do. But when you get a pocket full of tags at the beginning of the year, yes, you want to fill them. But yeah, it's
very stressful.
It adds a stress, and yeah, like you said, it was taking away from you stopping and realizing, dude, experience this.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with what's right in front of me. I don't have to fill this tag to have an enjoyable time. Dude, I kind of experiencing the same thing this last year with I had a couple leftover tags, and I was out end of rifle season out, and it was a whitetail buck tag, and I could fill a doe with it as well. And I had a couple days to hunt, and I went out the first night and had 3 does out in front of me that I could have just walloped, and itchy finger, wanted to just shoot one.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, dude, let it be. You still have a couple days, you can get out. It's gonna be kind of crappy, but get out, enjoy it. And that night was kind of that night where I was like, dude, you're not even gonna fill this tag. I already had decided. It was weird. Subconsciously, I already decided, you're not gonna kill anything with this tag.
Mm-hmm.
And but then that little bit of other side of me kept being like, oh, dude, shoot this doe. Have fun and shoot her, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally get that, and I've done that in the past where it's it's fun, and I do enjoy to do that sometimes. But I'm again, kind of where you were at. I already had a deer down. I already had an elk down. I didn't need more meat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd already donated one of our deer to some people that needed it. So it's I didn't need to harvest another animal. And so I went out the next couple nights again, and on the off chance of, a nice mature whitetail buck maybe coming out, but like the standard was very high, and I mainly went out and be like, dude, just enjoy being out there.
Right.
Like, enjoy these awesome evenings. I didn't have a cameraman with me. I was alone, so it was just like, enjoy going out and just being by yourself, like got to be out in the cold a little bit. And yeah, it was like that same thing. Like my epiphany moment was different than yours in the sense of yours came after this miss and you sat back and you're like, oh dude, what am I doing?
Right.
Mine was like the same thing. It was just like, it wasn't from a miss. It was just from, could have pulling the trigger and making that option not to, because there wasn't a reason to, and you're just like, oh, like, I don't always have to pull the trigger to have fun.
Right.
And it's weird. Like, it's cool to have it's okay to have the unnotched tags at the end of the season sometimes, and starting to get a folder full of them.
Right.
But yeah,
I don't even keep mine because
I don't want to let her go.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm feeling like less and less enjoyment always has to come from having a heavy pack out. Mm-hmm. Obviously I always want that. We all do, and
right.
And there has to be some of that. I mean,
you have to have motivation still.
Yeah.
To go out and do it, and if you lose that motivation, I think you're going to lose. We kind of talked a little bit about some of the older guys that you talk to.
Yes.
That just don't hunt anymore.
Yeah. How many times have you heard that talking to a guy and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I used to hunt a ton. I don't really do it anymore," and like they're still able to hunt,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, "What? Like you just quit?" Like, I don't get that. And I was like, this was the first year I was like, oh no, I can totally see, like, it's already tag season. We're just talking about that, how applications are open. Alaska's already closed. Wyoming's open. Arizona, elk and pronghorn are open. New Mexico just got the proclamations out. Like, we're going. And I'm like, I'm not even ready for this yet this year. This is the first year I'm like, oh, dude, ugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can start to see why. Maybe some of these dudes are kind of like, don't do it much anymore.
Yep.
Like, what's your thought on that?
There's definitely a burnout rate.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
And we kind of talked about that in an earlier podcast on the balance.
Mm-hmm.
And, your good balance versus overdoing it or kind of that underdoing it and then trying to rush at the end to... you're like, oh yeah, I drew this tag, and then you're not fully invested in it, and then all of a sudden at the end, you're like, oh shoot, I gotta find some place to go, I haven't scouted, and then you get...
the experiences.
Right, it's just
not the
altered,
same.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think, from my perspective, just looking at really focusing on certain hunts mm-hmm. instead of trying to group up this big number and
right,
trying to, because I think the experiences for all those are awesome, but I don't want them to get watered down one over the other.
That's a good point. And I never used to think that way. I am 100% guilty of being the guy that I want as many tags as I can get in the season and I want as many hunts as possible. And now I am completely flipping to, I would be cool with 1 or 2 tags and dedicate a full 10 days to each of them mm-hmm. and absolutely immerse myself with it and enjoy it and be done.
Right.
Like, and maybe I'll pivot back to the others at some point, some year too. I'm not saying either way is wrong or right. I'm not condemning either or because I've done both now mm-hmm. after this year. And I think both are great. But I just think it's like, no matter what stage you're in, to acknowledge that stage and try to get the most out of it and be okay with where you're at.
Right.
I mean, I totally get what you said. Like, you said, I think there is like a level of burnout that comes with it at some point. And I'm like, thinking about that, I don't want to get to that point.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be that 62-year-old guy that I've talked to multiple, that are like, yeah, I don't do it much anymore. Because at 62, I'm like, there's some big hunts I want to do in my life that I'm probably not going to be able to do until I'm 60.
Yeah, your preference points aren't going to be high enough.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't want to feel that way where I'm not excited when I'm 60 to do those things. And so now I'm like, I'm thinking deeper into the, how am I managing myself to get to this, to have this full life of this, of what things I love and not ruining it for myself.
Right.
You might see season 8 of Run to Gun of me up in the mountains fly fishing. Dude, I'm seriously to the point where I'm like, maybe I to appreciate it and take it to a whole new level of appreciation and love, do I need to not do it for a year? Like, real. Like, do I need to go buy a fly rod and teach myself how to fly fish and go hike up to the Beartooth and spend a week by myself up there fishing some little lake on top of a mountain?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to fly fish. Maybe I need to go teach myself how to do it and do something new.
Could be.
And miss all this for 500 days. I don't know.
Yeah, not me.
I'm talking a little crazy.
You are kind of talking crazy. I'm getting a little nervous.
I'm talking crazy right now, but that's like kind of almost where I'm at, though.
Yeah.
Like I'm just.
No, I agree. I definitely am taking a step back, kind of just not. I guess I'm in that. I'm going to apply for preference points,
right?
And I'm going to decide what hunts I'm going to focus on.
Yep.
And I'm not going to go all crazy looking at different units and draw odds and everything like that, unless I'm going to focus on that hunt.
I like that.
Because it just puts a lot of extra added stress on not only the hunter, but your family, your
financially.
Financially.
There's a ton that goes into this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I always think about when I already realizing that all these states are open, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you start thinking about upfront costs, like New Mexico just opened, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's a big credit card swipe. You know what I mean? Like, it's a financial burden also.
Yeah.
So how are you balancing that? Or you're not just crushing yourself, putting yourself in a bad situation.
Right. Well, that was me with the New Mexico tags this year. You're like, just throw in with us. I'm like, yep. Yeah. And, you drew 2. Oh boy.
Yeah, you weren't. It doesn't happen often. That
no, the chances of that were
next to none.
You're right,
but it can happen, and you got a $2,000 tag bill that doesn't even count the trip. It's just your 2 tags.
Right.
Well, lucky for us, we both work some side stuff where we can.
Yeah.
We grind it out. You make it work. I mean, but again, it's the added pressure.
Right.
Of it all too. So it's just where we're at. It's interesting, and it's that is the one thing I love too about how we apply. Like, I've used my hunting and my fitness to apply so many lessons learned in like other areas of my life. You know what I mean? And I know you're doing the same. So it's like, it's funny how we experience these different things and how it's like it does enrich our life in other areas because we have to figure out how to manage it all, and we apply these learning situations.
Yes.
But we also talked about how. Like, I talked about how my bull that I have over here that I killed my bow a couple years ago, and my bull that I have over here that I killed this year, same unit, same archery hunt, killed them both on the 6th day, last minute, like, really pretty much parallel experiences. Mm-hmm. But, like, certain areas of my life were going much smoother when I killed this bull, and so, like, I feel like I had less pressure, less stress, and that experience was, like, super enriched.
Right.
Where I had more stress in my life, just with other random things going on when I killed this bull, and I compare the hunts that way, and they're totally not parallels anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that total experience of enjoyment was just different, and it wasn't because of the hunt. It had nothing to do with the hunt. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, there's so much more in life than just working out and training and eating, or there's so much more to life than just planning our hunts and going on these hunts, like. Because those things, or maybe your thing is bowling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe your thing is snowboarding. Like, whatever your hobby is, whatever that extra enjoyment is what I'm getting at, is that unless you can start figuring out all those other balances, that enrichment of the hobby, of what you love, isn't going to be as fulfilling as what it totally could be.
Yes.
And that's where, like, when you mentioned that, like, burnout phase, where I'm like, dude, I want to just keep learning every year and have this self-awareness and have this step back so I can manage it and I can do it forever. Because I don't want to be 62 and quit. Mm-hmm. Or not have done it for already 10 years. Because we've heard it. I'm sure anybody listening to this has talked to an older gentleman that used to be engulfed in it.
Yep.
Like, learn from these people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I even heard it when I first got into TV, season 1, 2. I'd be talking to guys, and they'd be like, oh, sweet, that's really cool what you're doing. Like, I used to do that. And I'm like, I've never heard of you. Like, oh, yeah, we did 9 seasons of this and that. I'm like, oh, what happened? Like, yeah, we just we just don't do it anymore. Didn't enjoy it. Whatever their reason was. And I'm like, back then, I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no comprehension. Don't get, how could you get to that point? You know, you're 22 and full of massive energy. You know, like, you don't understand that part of life yet. You haven't experienced it. And so, but now that I'm done with season 7 almost, I'm like, oh, I can totally get how you get that way. You experience that part of life. And like, so, like, why just hear it from these people? Like, why not somehow really listen and figure out how not to do that?
Right. Yep. No, I agree.
In anything in life. Like, go to the nursing home and hear some dude talk about what he wished he would have done. Like, why don't we actually listen and be like, all right, I'm going to figure out not to have regrets, or I'm going to figure out not to, you know, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you hear when you guys get older. Like, I heard my grandpa talk about it, driving up to Pier to get something, and he was like, we'd just be chatting, and he saw like a crop dusting plane fly by, and he was like, man. I'm like, what's up? He's like, I told myself I was going to get my pilot's license. He's like, I always wanted to fly. And he didn't say anything, and I'm like, really? He's like, yep, I always wanted to fly. And you could just, like, tell by, like, the tone of his voice, like, how much, because at the time he was, like, 84.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just tell by the tone of his voice how much, like, it absolutely crushed him. It would be like me saying, I wish I always would have applied for hunting units and gone hunting, but I never did. Like, just crushed him. Like, why don't we think about that more often and be like, okay, I'm not going to have that happen. Like, how do I apply and get freaking after it?
Right.
What we want to go do. And then balance it, learn it all, and figure out how to apply it all to, like, every aspect of our life.
Right. And thankfully, you and I have had plenty of conversation where we've been able to bounce stuff off each other, too, on these same topics.
Right.
You know, me saying, oh, hey, have you hunted this unit? What do you think the success rate is? And you, I don't know. And then you're like, well, how was that unit? There was a lot of pressure. Okay, we're not going to focus on that. And, you know, so you get people, whether it's hunting, whether it's whatever, you know, if you have this goal, and if anybody's gone through something similar to that, don't be afraid to ask. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we get in trouble is, I guess, you're real hesitant to be like, to ask anybody. And granted, somebody's not going to give you their prime hunting spot.
Yeah.
But if somebody's gone through, you know, a fitness journey or did a marathon and you are looking at getting into running, going from a 5K to a marathon.
Or started a business or got married.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Anything.
Yeah.
I think we get so focused on I can do this, I can do it, and ask for help.
Yeah. Oh, totally, dude. And I especially think us guys are more guilty of it.
Yes.
For sure. You know, I think we always feel like we have to know everything. At least I do. Like, you know what I mean, though? But, like, seriously, like, we have a level of pride that is like, no, like, I can do it myself. I can figure out, even if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure out how to do it. I'll make the mistake and correct it from there. Like, that's, I mean, all those things are great. Like, it's great to have that confidence. But, like, there are certain times where it's like, dude, it's okay to go talk to your buddy about something and just talk. Like, most likely you're going to find out he's going through the same thing or has gone through something similar. And then he's like, oh, I'm not alone. I thought I was alone there. Oh, dude, I thought I was alone in this.
This morning, just talking about burnout phase and being okay with it.
Yep, exactly.
Being okay with ramping it down a little bit. Not always being on step 9.
Yep.
You know, or level 9, a 10. You know, just.
But if you're a person that's easily influenced, or I shouldn't say it like that. If you're a person who just any of us can be influenced, and especially influenced via the way social media is. Which, dude, I'm a social media ad. I live on it for my business. But like, if you spend a lot of time on it, and you want to be successful with stuff like you talk about the burnout, if that's influencing you, it can be ruining how you're approaching some of your stuff too. It will definitely benefit because you can learn so much. But if you're not careful, you can let it ruin because it's the comparison factor. I just posted, I'm doing the day by day, I'll run the gun daily this year, so there'll be 365 things out there. But the one a couple days ago was about, how we talked about how the old saying, the money is the root of all evil. Well, exchange the word money with comparison. And comparison I think that fits perfectly too, because, what can money do to us as humans, right? It can absolutely destroy us. Mm-hmm. Well, what can comparing do to you? If you're comparing yourself to everything else that's out there, it can destroy you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It destroys self-confidence. It destroys taking action. It destroys those things.
And you're always measuring yourself
right
up against somebody else.
That's
to their best and to their photo of something that most likely now in the Insta world is altered.
Yeah, and it's not social media that's doing it to us. It's not Instagram that's doing it to us. It's ourselves doing it to ourselves. You're setting your own standard when you're seeing things of what you think you need to do. You're making up all these things in our head. So it's not social media should be not targeting social media. It's just us. Mm-hmm. We have to take some accountability into how we approach those things, how we think, how we react. Key. In it, that's just maturity. You know what I mean? It just comes with maturity. Comes with self-evaluation. Me and Austin just talked about too how you get better at those things by spending time alone. Mm-hmm. Spent a lot of time alone in 2019 after taking my business full time. A lot of time down here at the computer by myself. Right. A lot, you know what I mean? All those little things, but you get better that way if you're self-reflecting and really asking yourself the tough questions. Why am I this way? Why do I react this way? Mm-hmm. Why am I choosing to do this thing? And so you get totally better if you allow yourself to get better when it comes to those areas of our life. So, and part of that is just taking a lot of self-responsibility. Yeah. Which can be, it'll be a smack in the face when you start seeing it.
Definitely.
But you will grow so much. It's awesome. It's really cool. It's really cool. We got more serious there than I was planning.
That was getting deep.
We got deep, dude.
It was getting real deep.
Here we were talking about just first time deer hunting, and then we went deep mode, which that's okay. You got me all amped up a little bit. Why are you getting me all amped up, dude?
Hey.
What's going on the rest of this week? What do you got going on? We're in January. We're rolling. You got a little vacay coming up.
Yep, a little bit. We're heading up to Great Wolf Lodge.
Yeah.
With girls. And
that's some ice
swimming, and then later on in the month, I got an annual kind of ice fishing trip I take. A couple of buddies go up and see if we can find some big walleyes up on Mille Lacs.
Oh, jealous. A little walleye fishing, and then, dude, I'm just getting ready for New Mexico, dude. Can't wait to get down there. Can't wait to podcast down there, me and you. We get Justin. Looking forward to it. But we got a train coming. So let's end the podcast right there. It was a good one today. We got deep in there. We put the pot on steam.
Yep.
Let it boil. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. We hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day.
See you next time.